Once again, it is the Mr. Irrelevant podcast. I'm your host, Josh Lewin. It is a pleasure to have you, as always, as we tell inspiring stories, normally sports related. And we are going so far off the grid today. I love this because we're going to tie it all back together, and you'll understand why at the end. But Marvella Akiojano is a fascinating subject. She's a Nigerian-American entrepreneur, a digital content creator, I think most notably CEO of Marviano Cosmetics, which is a beauty brand known for smudge-proof lip liners, a lot of other cool stuff, long-lasting stuff that you do to make yourself look super pretty. Very successful brand, very beautiful products from a beautiful soul. That's not what brings us here today completely. First of all, Marvella, thank you so much for being with us.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Such a thrill. What I love is you've created total relevance for yourself in a very crowded and challenging space. It's so impressive. We'll get into all that in short order. But I want to begin with when you didn't feel relevant, when you were not in the industry's inner circle. Can you take me back to a time when you felt like you're on the outside looking in and you're just kind of, as they say, waving through the window like that, and how that made you feel?
I would say, to be honest, I've always been in my own lane. So the heights that I've been able to reach, I never necessarily saw anybody's lane and said, oh my God, I wish so bad that I was right here. However, there are people that inspired me. And when I was watching from the outside, I was just thinking, okay, what is that if factor that they had? Why am I watching them? Why do I want to be like them? Why am I even interested in anything that they have to say or do or put out on social media? And it was just that they were being themselves. They never had to fit in a box to make it. They made it in their own lanes, which is exactly why I'm there's not a certain lane that I looked at because everybody is just kind of doing their own thing. And that's where I come in and I'm like, you know what? I'm doing my own thing. I'm doing my own, I have my own aesthetic. I have my own vibe going on. I have my own way and scope of work. So yeah, I was just kind of like, what is that it factor? And I found it.
I'm very curious about how you come to be that confident in your own abilities, because I think a lot of people look to external validation. They want other people to tell them that they're okay. How do you do that? How do you just know that this is my lane and I'm cool right where I am?
I feel like unlike a lot of people, my parents actually played a huge role in my success because they supported everything that I wanted to do growing up. If I wanted to learn the violin this week, my dad is putting me in classes. The flute next week, all right, I'm in classes. Do I want to swim? He's doing it. So, that having that kind of support growing up, it's kind of hard to feel like you can't take over the world, Even when we came out here and were, sleeping at my uncle's house, I still knew something was coming because I'm I didn't grow up in this kind of environment, but I knew things had to be the way they were in order for, the greater to come. So I think just growing up with parents that embedded that in me helped me with my confidence a lot. Aside from that, I also do know how much hard work they put into me. And I've always had that thing, being an only child, sometimes when you have siblings, you're like, okay, even if you mess up, at least your bigger sister can be the bigger one, or your little sister might be the successful one. There's nobody else. So if it's just me, I have to be the star of the family. I have to, make them proud. They have to get that ROI. There's only one of me. So I got to make it worth it. So just them already pointing to me and me knowing, how much they've sacrificed. I'm like, all right, I got to go. And I will make it. There's no way. So yeah, it's really from them, honestly.
You mentioned swimming, and when you mentioned staying in your lane, that's literally a sport where you have to do that. We're not even messing around. You have to stay in your lane. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me about how swimming, of all things, kind of focused that for you? It's a very solitary sport sometimes, right? I mean, it is just you and your thoughts.
Mm-hmm. It's actually so crazy. It makes so much sense why I am the way I am today. I'm very individualistic. I like being on my own type of time. So I swam when I was younger for years, actually. And I would say for 6, 7 years. I used to compete. But like when I moved out here, like a lot of things that I loved growing up back home, I didn't really enjoy as much when I moved out here, and swimming was one of them. So it was a sport that I genuinely enjoyed back home. I loved competing, but now I don't swim as much, honestly, not as much. But yeah, I was
Tell
pretty
me,
good at it though.
yeah, well, I believe it. I mean, because I know you put a lot into it. Tell me about back home. For those that don't know, you're from Nigeria. What was that like growing up there?
Growing up in Nigeria was fun. I'm not gonna lie. At the time I was growing up, it was a nice time. We lived in a pretty cool area. I knew everybody around. I had a lot of friends. I went to like one of the public schools in my area. Growing up in Nigeria was cool. It was fun. I had a nice childhood, I would say. My parents did their biggest ones. I went to school. I actually liked school. I did pretty decent at it. I love sports. I enjoyed growing up in Nigeria, to be honest.
And when you started to travel, I know as a kid, you were able to get to, for example, London, and there's
Mhm.
pretty high fashion, obviously, in London. Did that turn your head when you first got to England and saw all that?
Honestly, yes. Like when I look at my pictures when I was out there, I would just be like, "Wow, you had no idea." And I'm like, "Oh my god, I was totally wear this today, like in a little more grown way." But I'm like, "You've always loved fashion." I always remember like every time we'll come to the UK, we used to go every single year. So every time we go out there, we'll shop a lot, and the stuff I would be picking, and I'm just like now thinking about it as a kid. I did have some sort of like fashion sense. So, and I definitely do love the way they dress out there. I get inspired by it. They experiment out there. Every day is a fashion show and I love it. And I think that's kind of why I like New York, because it reminds me of the UK a little bit, just a little bit.
A couple of things I want to go back to, if you don't mind, Marvella. You
Mhm.
talked about being an only child, and again, I
Yes.
kind of put that in the same bin as you're a loner when you swim. You're a loner when you decide to go out on your own like this. Did it sharpen your skills having to fend for yourself, not having that older sister or older brother?
Absolutely. I feel like, especially in a world like this, where sometimes, like, even when you're not alone, like, whatever life throws at you can make you feel like you're alone. I feel like having that foundation already growing up, um, not just having so many people to cushion me whenever something happens, it's like, all right, it's just me and my thoughts, me and my pain after my parents, maybe say sorry the first time, but it's just me after that. So I think it definitely played a very, very huge role in me being, you know, like this. Yes. I hope that answered your question. If it didn't, I can go a little deeper and you
No, no,
can.
no. I mean that I think it's just very telling that as you go out on your own, it's almost born out of necessity, and also
Mhm.
the fact that Marviano Cosmetics was not your original business plan. I know you
Mhm.
initially envisioned a handbag line, and wondering about that pivot. What took you from one to the other?
Resources, because I know I'm just genuinely the type of person I would never put out anything that I would not buy or spend my money on. And unfortunately, I am very, very much frugal with my money. So I'm like, I have that mentality as well. So I think that's also another reason why my business is doing pretty well, because I'm like, okay, I wouldn't buy this if I wouldn't buy this. I know nobody's gonna buy it. People are not gonna buy it. But if I will buy it, I know people gonna buy it. But like, yeah, like I didn't have enough resources at the time to produce a bag that I genuinely would buy. Like the quality of the bag. I remember like the star product was gonna even be like a cow skin type of thing. And I'm like, in order to bring this back to life as a fresh college graduate, it's not gonna work. And I just don't want to put out anything, just anything in the market. So we'll put a pause on that. And my friends thought it was a great idea. My parents actually showed them the designs and everything. They thought it was a great idea. But I was like, you know what? I'll put this on a back burner. We can do like a Marviano women, Marviano wears or something someday. I'm dibbling and dabbling right now because we're dropping some merch, but we'll see.
Is
Yeah.
there, yeah, I'm just wondering, is there wisdom in general in knowing limitations sometimes? I mean, even just in the course of a regular day, do you find yourself there are moments where you're like, well, I sure would love to do it this way, but I have to be realistic and just kind of throw up my hands and say it's just not worth it?
Absolutely. So I have a very good friend that is really good at doing ads for business. And for months, he's been telling me, like, you should absolutely throw ads behind your business. I haven't used any ads or anything, whatever, this whole time. So it's just been word of mouth and just us pushing the product. So I'm like, as much as I would love to do that and like, you know, indulge in increasing the volume of the sales, I'm like, we are getting insane amount of sales right now for the resources that we do have. So like, I'm not gonna be greedy because I could say, oh, you know what? Just slap a pre-order on it and then it can take as long as it wants just because it's a pre-order. You know how it be sometimes. But I was like, no, you know what? I'll wait. I'm doing things the right way. I'm going to get this warehouse. I'm going to do this, that, and the third, where I know 50 people can come out there at once or something, not my little spot that I got going on right now. So, yes, there's definitely times where I have to pull myself back and say, oh my God, as much as this is great and this is going to scale the business, you're not ready for that. And I rather go at a cool pace and still be working on, doing those things on the back end than just throwing myself in there and just saying, you know what, no, why not take a risk? No, that's not a risk. They're just making a dumb decision because we already know the outcome. So, I sometimes I wait and it's just too obvious that I'm like, all right, you know what, we'll try again later. So yeah.
Are you a patient person by nature, or did you have to teach yourself that, hey, I gotta slow my roll?
I had to teach myself. I'm still teaching myself. It takes a lot of work to be patient. I feel like because I'm genuinely like, I'm a problem solver. Like I'm the type of person, if something is wrong right now, I want to fix it right now. So like it takes a lot, especially with a business because there's so many moving parts. You can't control everything. Like you just can't. So it's teaching me a lot of patience. And I'm very grateful for that because it's very needed. It's very needed.
Marvella, you've built such a loyal following, and you talk about your passion for inclusivity and authenticity, of course, quality. I want to take those one by one. When you talk about inclusivity, and you use that word, I know a decent amount because you want, I'm sure, to put it out there that we're all in this together.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to put words in your mouth at all. When you say inclusivity, what does that word mean to you?
Inclusivity to me means all, for everybody. You know what I mean? I want to be able to go to a website and see that they're not just using my skin color as false inclusivity, but when I buy the whatever the product is, I use it at the house, it's not made for somebody that's actually my skin color like they showed me that it would be. Or that, something was launched and people of my color weren't even thought of at all, on the site, in real life, all of that good stuff. It means for me, us being able to be in these elaborate, elegant, classy spaces. These spaces with the people that are making the big moves, calling the shots. You know what I mean? Yes, just making a way for people of color to feel welcome, to feel among, to feel like we are supposed to be here. Like being alive is not a privilege for us. We're supposed to be here. I hope that's the question.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. And as I continue down kind of the pegs that you hang all of this on, inclusivity is one. You mentioned quality as another. Are you hands-on with that? Because it does reflect you, right? I mean, it's the Marvella brand.
I am. I am very hands-on with quality. Literally, I made a video yesterday and I just edited it. I have to post that ASAP. See, now we're talking about it. That's a sign. I literally just threw away thousands of dollars worth of products just because of a defect. I actually do not play about that. So sometimes people see customer feedback and they might feel a crazy kind of way about it and be like, oh my God, like they might be tripping because, what you've tested for months. You know what you've put out. So you're like, no, whatever. At first, I had that initial reaction when I first launched and I got like my first complaint. But like, as time went on, I'm like, oh, you know what? Let me go ahead and test this because I know this is not on me. I didn't make the lip liners. I know I approved the samples, but I didn't get in there and mix it. So you know what? In the middle of it getting to me, there might have been a mistake here. Let me test it. So from that point where I started testing stuff, I'm like, oh, you're right. So I take feedback very, very seriously. And I literally go straight back to the lab. And I'm not one to still put it out and still like sell it or whatever. And even if I decide to do that, I will give a disclaimer. But until now, there hasn't been anything with the quality. It's mostly been like the color being a different like shade or whatever. And people are like, oh no, some of us like it. Some of us with a cooler skin color like this. You should launch it for us. I'm like, okay, you know what? And some people are like, this is how inclusivity starts because it don't work for you and a couple of people doesn't mean, I'm like, all right, great. But when it started hitting the quality, that's when I'm like, okay, pause. We have to go back to the drawing board. These I actually cannot sell. And the kind of video I will make won't be like, oh, hey, so the color is a shade off. Would you guys still get it? No, it's like, I threw this away already, but I'm coming to tell you guys that everything is fine. All is well. If you had those issues, we're so sorry. However, we're back in business, and then I'll use it, in the video to show them it is well. But yes, I don't play about the quality because again, I will never put out stuff that I won't buy. I'm not even giving it away. That's how serious it was. I had to throw it away.
There's a saying that good is the enemy of great. Do you believe that? Because it sounds like you could put that stuff out and be like, nobody's going to really, but you'll know, right? I mean, you want things to be great.
I don't know. Okay. I don't know because it's going to be like a little group of people that are going to be like super excited. Oh my God, I got my hand on Marviano because again, these are products that sell out like crazy. So it's like they can make that video. They're not going to get the best experience. And at the end of the day, it still says Marviano on it. So regardless of if they're aware that I made a disclaimer that it's not the best and it was a giveaway and they got it for free, all of that does not matter. Because the Marviano is still on there, it's still gonna get the shade.
Right. So, yeah. So we've talked inclusivity, we've talked quality. I want to talk on the thing that really, really hits for me, which is authenticity. And you mentioned it earlier, you've got to be you, whatever that means, whatever that entails. You're the only thing that you can bring that's unique to this space and to this industry, right? Is who you are. So can you speak on that a little bit? How does one who's kind of maybe doubting themselves become the best authentic version of themselves?
I would say the easiest way, of course, do not overshare, is to just sometimes when you turn the camera on, just think about it like you're talking to your friend or something. Because a lot of people, we all consume content. So it's very, very easy to sometimes morph into somebody else. So in order to keep the authenticity to yourself, I would just say like with whatever you're filming, just imagine you're already talking to people that know you, people that are your friends. Again, don't overshare, but I think that definitely helps. Practicing in the mirror also helps. You don't have to go through a whole script or whatever, but like, if you're trying to gather that confidence to be your authentic self. Hey, walk around the house acting like you're vlogging all day. Get into it. Practice makes perfect. Also, just know like nothing is going to be, I don't know, you just might got it like that. Hey, but nothing is usually always perfect the first time. So just keep going, and just know there's so many people you can be in this life, but like you are very, very special and most people are going to gravitate towards you because you are you. And you also want an audience that will gravitate towards you because you're you, because you can only act like somebody else for so long. It's exhausting, it's draining. Nobody's saying don't evolve because there's a difference. You can evolve and adapt certain things from like certain creators, but like make it your own, spice it up, give them for example, the Marvella, little spice, I would say. Mm-hmm.
You said that very well. And I think there is a boundary, right, between looking at what else is out there, right? And you can probably appreciate like, oh, that brand does this very well. And I really like what they do. But even if you want to maybe kind of appreciate what they do, if it doesn't fit with who you are and what you're doing, it's a healthy separation, right? You can't try to be somebody that you're not.
It's going to be so obvious. And they're going to be sending you a video in the group chat. You don't want that.
So listen, but when you talk, because you've talked a lot about putting yourself out there, and whether it's making your own videos, which you've learned how to do extremely well. You've got your degree in marketing and in sales. How much of that background informs what you're able to do now to put yourself out there? Did you really take a lot from college, or was this more trial and error, just doing things on your own?
I'll say it's kind of a combination of both. I would say college taught me more of how to get in the field and just really speak to people that you don't know at all from Adam. I was into sales. I was in a professional sales program. So I had to like cold call a lot. So that taught me, that actually helped with my confidence when it comes to speaking to, people in general about things that I barely even understood at the time because, at the time I'm doing this, I think I was even interning as well. So it was just a lot of information, but it definitely did help my human relation skills, especially being an only child. So it was, um, that helped for sure. I also learned a lot about like money management, which was very important because I don't think I'll be able to manage that much money by myself at this stage right now. So that was important. I took like 4 or 5 accounting classes. So it helped for sure. So in those ways, human relation and like my accounting skills are pretty good.
And
Yeah.
do you subscribe to that fake it till you make it cliche too? I mean, do you have to do that sometimes, or do you want to have a good baseline before you even try to fake anything?
So, fake it till you make it. It depends on what connotation we're talking. So, when you say fake it till you make it, are we talking like, when you get in front of the camera, just act like you already got 1 million followers and just feel it and just go? Or are you saying like, act like you buy a Chanel bag every 2 days
Well,
and like,
I think for me, I guess what I'm curious about is when you're not yet in this business space. I mean, you've got to go, like you say, pitch yourself and
mhm,
present yourself as someone who could be a multi-million-dollar operation, but you're not yet.
mhm, right.
So, how do you get that confidence to walk into that room like you own that room, even though you don't own the space quite yet?
I'll say I just literally walk into every room hoping that people feel the passion that I do have, like for the business beyond like, the like profit side and all of that. I hope people, whenever I talk about the business, see that, oh my God, like I do genuinely want to bring solutions to the market. I want to bring products to the market that are just like past a trend or like past me seeing like, oh, this is something that everybody's doing right now. I need to hop on it, but maybe put like a Marvella spin on it. No, like I want to come here with intention. I want it to be like, oh my God, like my under eye is always watering. Let me find a solution to that. And like, something that people will find value in. So yes, I think that is my approach, I would say.
In the few minutes we've got left, Marvella, and thank you so much for the generosity of your time too. I'd love to go back to the thought of you being this successful loner. That you had to, as a swimmer. You're very much on your own. As an only child, you're very much on your own. As a businesswoman now, it all starts and stops with you. But there is eventually a team sports collaborative at some point, right? You've got to work with other
Mhm,
people. You've got to manage other people. You've got to get along with people other than yourself. So
mhm.
when you're as independent as you are, and you're so successful being independent, how do you gain the strength and the ability to suddenly be in a team environment? Because you have to do that at some point, right?
Yes, absolutely. I'll say Marvella already had a team before Marviano, which is great. Like I have my publicist, which is amazing. I had my manager. So like that kind of like prepared me a little bit to, I would say, run my own company or like run a team in my company. However, it is a little different with, actual business because it's a lot more people. It is a lot more moving parts. There's more authority that needs to be asserted, in order for stuff to be done in the way you want it done in general. And sometimes it's just genuinely hard to trust people with your business, but it helps when you have people that genuinely care about your growth. And, sometimes you can tell by the way people talk about you and, talk about your business, you know how excited they are. You can tell how excited they are for your business. Like they treat it like their own. And I feel like everybody on my team does that. So that is great. And it definitely helps. What helped, yeah, that's definitely what helped me get comfortable with it. I have had a couple of hires that haven't like necessarily been all the way on that wavelength. So that's how I knew, oh, maybe this is how you're able to tell what's great and what's not. Maybe when you're getting this energy, you're like, okay, we can work. So yes, that's how I've been able to do it.
And on the business side, you continued to expand Marviano Cosmetics. You're always introducing new lip glosses and blushes. And so I love that. You're always in growth mode. But I know you also remain committed to using your platform for, I guess, what I would call a greater purpose. Can you describe that to me? If you had to say, what is your ultimate purpose, the greater purpose that takes the business out and makes it more than just transactional?
So I want every girl to feel pretty without being cautious all day. I want every girl to feel confident in their looks without feeling cautious all day. Like right now, we have our setting sprays are gonna launch very, very soon. And when I was making those, I wasn't necessarily just thinking, oh yeah, like this is a more expensive product. We're gonna make way more money, way more profit. No, I'm thinking, no, this is a setting spray that girls like me, I'm an emotional girl. I cry all the time. My eyes get watery all the time. And during testing mode, I realized, it doesn't mess up your makeup whenever you do cry or like a drink spilled on you. I remember my birthday, somebody spilled a whole glass of champagne on my face. I would be so mad and I would leave, but my face was literally fine. So like for moments like that, for people that feel like once their makeup is ruined, the day is over, like me, I got something for you. So it's for people to feel confident all day. Like my lip liner, I know it's not gonna move all day. I can eat as much as I want. I can have a nice time all summer, carefree. I want my girls to be whimsical and have a ball la la without overthinking anything. And that's just it. All day confidence.
It's such a great message because you show confidence and when you're able to translate that, it helps other people receive it. Last one for you, and this is kind of broad, but can you maybe share a couple things about your industry that are, I don't want to say concerning necessarily, but if you could play the almighty for a day, what would you do to fix an issue or two in your space? What should be done to address those things?
Ooh. I would say more opportunities for the girls that don't um, typically conform to the I'm like trying to find the best way to say it. I would just say like we should be diverse with the opportunities that go out to people. I would just say, but I would say how to fix it. I just think we should genuinely find beauty in everything and in everyone. I understand that like we're in the 21st century, like the beauty standards are very, very different to everybody. But I feel like once in a while, people should really sit back and find beauty in everything and everybody and see, oh my God, wait, you are so beautiful. Yes, I would love to hand you this opportunity. Yes, yes, absolutely. Because not everybody is the same. Not everybody looks the same. You don't know what ad somebody is going to see somewhere random and be like, oh my God, she looks just like me. I'm going to buy that. And then you don't know, she might be the queen of the city and tell everybody to buy the same thing. And now, boom, you're popping in that city. You never know.
And that's the inclusivity that you preach. I love that. The quality we know. I'm no expert in the field. You can tell I do not use your product, but I know a lot of people that do and swear by it. The authenticity, that's the peg that I think people will really take away from our conversation, that you have to be you, and you lean into that more than anybody in your space. So I congratulate you for all your success, Marvella.
Thank you so much.
Cannot thank you enough for your time, and continued success to you. I hope it keeps on growing.
Amen. Thank you so much.
That is Marvella Akiojano. She's so great. This is Josh Lewin. I'm just a voice in the night. But thanks so much for listening. We'll talk to you next time. Cheers.
Thank you.